everyone, are you well? Now, a few days ago, Craft Redux, another scratch builder, brought out a video of one of these. His wasn't a puzzle, his was just a standalone, build it together sort of wooden car. Mine's a puzzle, so mine will take a little bit longer, but I hate these cars. Anyway, he built it, and then that was it. And it kind of frustrated me because there was so much potential to use for one of these cars to pimp it up. So that's what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to build this and then I'm going to pimp it and turn it up to 11. So let's do a quick montage of me banging this together and then we'll get to the good stuff. So you know what that means. Cue the music. Let's start scratching this build. So the instructions were telling me that everything was a puzzle and everything had a place. Well, after I built it, there was a few pieces that hadn't gone onto the car, but that was alright because it wasn't going to stay a car for much longer. And if you're going to pay full whack for one of these, then just wait until they come down in price, because for the price of them, they are a terrible build. Anyway, that is the car. About as uninspiring as your grandma's Sunday dinner. And I don't mean any disrespect by saying that it's about as uninspiring as your grandma's dinner, but my grandma's dinners, from what I remember, was a trip to the A&E for a stomach pump afterwards. But hey, let's move on. So now the hard part's over and it's time to pimp this car up. So that means taking the wheels off, because these wheels look as rickety as this script that I'm writing for this video. So I broke out my snips and just started cutting things off that was not necessary really. And I hear you ask, how can it be an all-terrain vehicle without wheels? Well, I'm going to use these. These are spray bottle tops that are going to be the legs. So I want this one to look like legs and imply that it could hover if it so wished. So basically what I did was just took out the insides of the spray bottles and then stuck these to the wheel arches. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I had 3 of the same spray bottle tops and then 1 different. Well, that was okay, because since this was a scratch build and it was kind of like a Gaslands post-apocalyptic sort of build, then I'm kind of guessing that they built this with anything and everything they could find. So some parts are not going to match. And plus, it's my build, so there you go. First bit of kit bashing is this top to a tank that I'm just going to chop some of the edging off and use that for the car. Next I raided the offcuts from my styrene and used that just so it could be bits and pieces that I could stick on to the car. And since this was going to be a kit bash car that somebody had built in the garage while fending off zombies and their grandma's cooking, I decided it was going to be wasn't going to win any prizes for the new Tesla. So Elon Musk's job is safe, and it was just going to be smashed together with just bits of sort of like steel plating and that sort of stuff, all just mashed together and held together with love, chewing gum and, well, blue tack. And I know you can't build a car with blue tack, but because I'm writing this script on the back of a matchbox, I ran out of paper, so now I'm just going to wing the rest of the script. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to build like a plough for the front of the car with teeth on it, and just going to put bits and pieces on the front, so then when you're going through the hordes of zombies, you can push them zombies to one side, so you've got a clear sort of way along the road. So along with the styrene and the plastic model bits, I'm also going to use some of this corrugated cardboard just to sort of like give it some sort of texture. So there's the front bit on, and then it was on to the sides. And the side bits I didn't film for some reason. That's me being the ace cameraman that I am. But this is granny grating. This bit fell off an old model, and I'm just going to use this as sort of the new windshield, because the glass is being smashed, and to stop zombies eating your face off when you're driving along, there's the wire mesh to stop them from joining you on your trip. Then once that was done, I just added various details to the front of the vehicle and to the back, just putting that on, and then just added, you know, bits of offcuts from model kits, and then it was on to the detailing. So no Gaslands build is ever complete without beads, and here are the beads. We should all know now that beads represent rivets, and the rivets are going all on the wheels, and in other places, various places around the vehicle, just so it looks like it's been welded and riveted on. So yeah, so I took my time doing all that. And I realised it needed a big engine, a bit like the Mad Max vehicles. So this is the inner of one of the spray bottles that I'm going to use as the engine, and I'm going to stick it on the front of the bonnet. So I just need to do a bit of fine tuning and snip away some of the Q-tips and get that stuck down. And since fuel would be an issue in the future, I repurposed this old Star Wars spaceship and took some of the canisters off that will then be stuck on the back, so that will represent more sort of fuel holding area. So stuck them either side of the vehicle. Then it needed something bold and brash, and this was from an old steampunk house that I made many years ago. And decided to repurpose that as well. I'm doing a lot of repurposing, and Greta Thunberg will be proud of me, because all of my builds so far have been repurposed from older models. I used some more Q-tips just to put like a cage around the engine bit at the front, sort of more detailing just to make it a bit more point of interest once it's all painted. And it looks a monstrosity now, but I assure you, once it's painted, everything will make sense. Kind of. There was some holes already in these containers, so I just thought I'd put some garden wire through just to make it look like it's fuel lines. So I'm just going to hot glue the holes, put the wire in, and then tuck them underneath the car, and that job is done. This is a tank track from an old tank model kit that I'm going to use, and I'm going to chop these down, and they'll represent the bullet sort of rack for the submachine guns that I placed on the vehicle. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. So not only do we have the ramp with the teeth at the front, we also have machine guns, so it's fully tooled up to shoot all those face-eating zombies. So that's it, that's the model done, and now it's on to priming. So once I painted it with the rattle can of black, I then went over it with green. Why green? Because I was trying out a new idea of just doing it one sort of colour. Well, obviously one colour, and then I'll be using copper for the engine and that sort of stuff, but then I'm going to highlight it with a little bit of off-white around the edges, just sort of to see, because I'm testing this paint job out for a future build that'll be coming down very soon. So all the engine parts just get a steampunk copper sort of paint job, and then the cage will get, and the rivets will probably get a little dab of silver. And there is said silver just going on all the cage bits. And then once that's done, I just went around and just randomly painted all the rivets a little dab of silver. And if you're still here watching and you haven't zapped on all the way to the end, of the build, I just want to say thank you very much for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please like, subscribe, share the video. It's really helping the channel. I know I keep harping on about it, but this is the only way that these videos can get noticed, is if people start liking, leave a comment, a nice comment, and just keep sharing. So thank you very much. And then onto the dry brush of white just along the edges. This was the technique I'm using that I want to use for a future build, and this leads us on to the glamour shots. So thank you very much for sticking with me and watching this video, and until next time, keep scratching that build everybody. I'll see you very soon.